How we doing, everyone? It's Living to Learn. Thank you for watching my video. This content is put out for you. It's intended to help you, to inspire you, to get you thinking, to get the ball rolling a little bit, whatever that might look like. Everybody's in different circumstances, different situations, and I'm just here trying to give back again to what's been given to me. If you've never watched my channel before, one thing about that I'd like you to know about is that it comes from a place of wanting to help others find their purpose, and that's such a broad statement. And so to narrow it down, if there's one thing I can accomplish in this channel, it's to perhaps get someone like yourself or whoever's watching, whoever's listening, to think that, you know what, maybe entertain the thought that, hey, you know what, maybe there's more to me than I thought. Maybe I can accomplish, maybe I can pursue, maybe I can be more than what I'm currently expecting from myself. And that's something that I'm going through. That's my journey. That's my season in life as well. Over the last couple of years, just really pushing myself and expecting more from myself. And now the change is very difficult. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, I've shared some things in my life that that I've had to come up against. Some of the uphill struggles that I'm having currently. But the difference between myself and maybe someone else is that I have continued to pursue this change. And what it is, it's just me trying to get to the most excellent version of myself possible. How far I'll go, only time will tell, right? But I'm inviting you to join me on that. And I don't want you just to be a part of my journey. I want to share in your journey as well. I want to be able to contribute, and really what this is all about. In a community, people have to help each other. Maybe that's not our natural inclination for some of us, right? Some of us are maybe just kind of keep things to ourselves for whatever reason. Maybe it's just our personality. Maybe it's what we saw, what was modeled to us growing up, right? We mirror what our parents do, or whoever we're around, right? Some of us were not raised by our parents. Some of us were raised in very different situations, very different environments than the next person, right? What might be viewed as quote unquote normal was not the norm for you at all. And so I don't know how you got to wherever you're at. Whatever your inclination is, whatever your disposition is, whatever your personality is like, or how you see the world. But in a community, right, for a tight-knit community to stay together, there has to be help. There has to be people willing to give, not just take, but give as well. And that's where I come in. That's kind of my role in every area in my life, right? Starting with my family first, and then it kind of extends out from there. Is I'm somebody who has been given a lot. I am somebody who has been afforded a lot of luxuries. Now, when I say luxuries, I don't mean nice cars and houses. I mean, all those things are great. Nothing wrong with them at all. But when I mean luxuries, I mean like just giving things for no reason, right? Just giving things from people just wanting to help me, right? Family, friends, loved ones. People just giving from their heart, wanted to see me do well, wanted to see me excel. And that's a gift, right? And if you've heard me talk about this before, you know that when I talk about my upbringing, when I talk about my family, there's no perfect family. There's no perfect upbringing. Everybody has struggles. Everyone has their setbacks. Everybody has to go through tragedies. That's life. That's the life. That's just what life on earth is like for us. See, that's the human experience. But I always say that when it comes to my family life, and when it comes to the way that I was raised and how I was brought up, I feel like I hit the lottery. I feel like I grew up about as well as you could. And that says a lot. That says a lot about those who came before me. That says a lot about those who mentored me and contributed directly to my growth and who I am today. And so, again, my role is to give back. That's just kind of how things came into play by design, right? And as we grow older, we learn things and we become more aware, right? Now I've had my stages of immaturity. I've had my stages of making mistakes, of making terrible decisions. And today I try to make the best decisions I can. But, again, we see the world the way we do. And, we approach things with the perspective that we have. And so one thing I can say is this: I'm very grateful, and I've been given a lot. And I have a lot to be grateful for, and I have a lot to be thankful for. Part of that is why I create this content, right? That's part of my giving back. That's part of my thank you, is by giving back in this way. And so for anyone watching, welcome to the channel. Thank you for watching, and subscribe, like if you like them, if you like the videos, if you comment, that's always helpful. Again, even going forward with future, subjects that you might want to be covered, please feel free to make a suggestion. I'm open to them. And if you want to donate, there's links there to donate as well. That's always very helpful. You don't have to support me financially. Just watching, listening, spreading my videos is help enough. But if that is something that you feel like would be helpful, if you really have found these videos helpful to yourself, and maybe you've been able to help someone else out, that financial donation is very much appreciated. And it does help me keep going and keep making content. With that being said, here we are, and we are going to be covering phase 2 of the change cycle. If you watched my video last week, I talked about discontentment, right? And just kind of a quick recap: what is discontentment? What is that phase in the change cycle? Now, the change cycle is a phase. It's a cycle of 6 different phases, right? And we're going to be covering each one of them, just kind of breaking them down one by one. The first phase, right? The first thing that you're going to arrive to is discontentment, right? Because where does change come from? Change comes from, where does the desire to change come from, right? Well, you've got to recognize something that needs to be changed. So becoming discontent, right? You find something in your life that you're just like, hey, I don't like this as it is. It could be anything, could be any situation, could be a job, relationship, etc., etc. And you're just like, you know what? I'm not happy with the results. I'm just not happy with how this is. And, you realize that you are discontent, right? You're not content, right? Discontent is the opposite of content. When you're content, you're, hey, I'm good. I'm at peace with this. This is fine. It's good where it's at. But when you are discontent, you're saying, you know what? Something needs to change. And, I just don't like the outcome anymore. Now, once you've gotten to discontentment, the next phase in the change cycle is going to be the breaking point. Now, most of us can relate to a breaking point, right? And when you hear that word, that phrase, right, breaking point, right, what comes to mind? And when I hear that, I think of like, man, that's like when I'm at my last, like when I've, like they say, the last straw, right? Like this is the last straw. Like I can't take any more after this, right? And that could be anything, right? I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where, maybe you were, maybe somebody at work was bothering you, or maybe, when you were at school, somebody just kept teasing you. And then all of a sudden you just reach the point where you're like, listen, if they say one more thing, right? If that person tells me one more thing, right? And that's what comes to mind when I think of breaking point. But really what the breaking point is you're at a place where this thing that you're discontent, right? First it's discontentment, right? You're not happy with the results. Now you've reached the breaking point. Okay, so whatever you were discontent with has now bubbled up, right? It's come to the surface, and now you're saying, listen, I'm done. Something needs to change. I need to do something different. I need a different result. I need to see a different outcome from what I'm seeing right now. Right? I'm discontent. This is not what I want. Right? This is not what I want to, something needs to change. Right? So you've reached that breaking point. Enough is enough. And now you've decided that it's time to take action. Okay? Well, let's save the decision part, because that's actually the next phase after the breaking point, right? So first you get to a point where you're saying, listen, I've had enough. It's probably time for me to make a change. It's probably time for me to work towards a different outcome, right? And this is interesting because, and again, this is all I'm referencing. I'm referencing the book Act Now, co-written by my business coach Regeanie Corona, along with Dr. Natalie Phillips. And in the book Act Now, they're explaining the change cycle. And so something interesting that they say is, it's time to make a change, right, and work towards the outcome that you desire. Sometimes the breaking point is self-initiated. Other times it's forced upon us by external circumstances. And I found that interesting because, I thought about, well, what does that mean for the breaking point to be self-initiated? Like, how do I self-initiate my breaking point, right? How do I get there on my own? And, there's probably a lot of different ways. One of the things that I thought of was, well, maybe if you're just consistently or constantly focused on that thing that you're discontent with, eventually you're just going to kind of work yourself into that breaking point, right? But I think more often than not, it does come from external circumstances. Maybe something will happen or something as a result of whatever it is that you're discontent with. Something happens and now you're there. You're like, you know what, I got to do something different. So I need a different outcome. I'm not getting the results that I want. And I want to give you guys an example. And this is a funny story. And I think I mentioned this on one of my old videos. I can't remember. And so, but I was thinking, hey, I thought as I was kind of getting ready for this video, I was thinking of a time and thought back to, my childhood. When I was a kid, I was in 4th grade. I think it was the 4th grade. And, in I don't know how you guys school went, but, when I was younger, in elementary school, we had our class. And in the class, you have like the different offices in the class, right? So you have like class president, vice president, treasurer, right? Those are like the main 3. And I remember when I was in the 4th grade, I wanted to run for office, right? I wanted to run for the office of my 4th grade class, and so I made my best attempt, right? So and I don't even know how I had this idea, but I wrote a little speech, right? Something, making promises that I was going to do this, and this, right? I had a lot of authority as a 4th grader, right? But the teacher, it's part of the class, and it was just fun. So I got up there, read my little speech, and I didn't get elected. And so I said, okay, I'll try for the next one. So went up, did the same thing, didn't get elected again. I was like, okay, well, there's one more, office that I can try for. And so I think it went president, vice president, and then treasurer, right? So now I'm going for treasurer. Like, okay, well, if I can't get president or VP, I'll take the last one. Got up there again, did the same thing. Guess what? Didn't get picked. So I was kind of bummed. It's not a big deal, but as a 4th grader, you kind of, I wanted to win, and I put myself out there, right? So you're kind of like, what am I going to do about this now? I know one thing. I know I didn't want to quit. I know I wanted to keep trying, right? So, I realized, you know what? If I'm going to give it a go, right? So I don't know how, I forgot how often the elections happen, right? But anyway, it came back around, and I was like, okay, this time I was determined I'm going to do it. But I switched up my approach, right? I ditched the speech. I was like, no, I'm not writing anything. And I thought, how can I do this different, right? And it's funny because here I am as a 4th grader learning this important lesson that somehow I've forgotten, right? As I've grown into an adult, right? I'm 41 years old now. This is a long time ago. But here for whatever reason, it just kind of I just kind of got this idea that, you know what, if I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to win this election again, I better do something different. That whole speech writing thing, it didn't work. So that's got to go out the window. So this time I came back around and I came with a totally new approach. Man, I got up there and guess what I did? I just started being me. You know, my little silly, goofy 4th grade self, right? I've always been I don't want to say a class clown, but, you know, I've always been somebody who with a good sense of humor. I've always been able to tell jokes and just make people laugh. And so that's what I did. Got up there, had the whole class falling out of their seats, laughing. I was saying all kinds of nonsense, you know, all kinds of funny stuff, just being a fool, you know, just being a clown. Guess what? I won. Elections came around again. Okay, I couldn't, you know, there was term limits, right? So I couldn't run for president again. Had to go for VP. Guess what? Did the same thing, went up there, had everybody laughing, was just being me, in my personality, won again. Did it a 3rd time for treasurer, won again, right? Came in, had a clean sweep. And it's funny, it's silly, right? But very important lesson. Very important. I was like, listen, I want to win. I want to win this election. I don't like that I wrote a speech last time and I didn't win. So guess what? I got to do something different. I want a different result. I got to do something different. So guess what I did? Went up there and I was just me. And it was the best decision I made because I got the results that I desired. And it's funny because as a 4th grader, this is a very important lesson. I don't know how I lost this over the years as an adult. And listen carefully to what this is. This is the thing is, sometimes something has to happen, right? Something has to happen. Now, this is a funny example, but we can scale this out, right? Something has to occur. Like, wait a minute, that didn't go the way I wanted it to. Something's got to change. And whatever the case may be, okay, and this is from the book, whatever the case may be, it causes us to decide that it is time for a change. And this is that second phase of the change cycle, is that breaking point. Like, hey, listen, I got to do something. And maybe you're there right now. Maybe you're in that phase already. You've already realized your discontentment. Now you're at a breaking point. Hey, I've got to do something different. Something's got to change. Right? And we get there. And this is a good place to be. It's not a comfortable place. It's not a fun place. Okay, it might not even feel good. But finally, we've reached that breaking point. We've got to get to that breaking point. We can't just keep putting up with something that's not giving us the result that we desire. That's a waste of resources. That's a waste of our energy and our time. How many people feel stuck? How many people feel like, you know what, I can't get out of this. I can't leave this. I can't walk away from this. They never even get to that point. And there are more phases of the change cycle. And it's really, and I hope it makes sense to you, because the breakdown makes so much sense to me, because I'm able to identify where I'm at in these different phases in different areas of my life. And why it's so hard to push past on this area, or why it's so hard to get going on this area. Change is difficult. You know, we've been talking about that. You know, that's been a major theme in my videos, how hard it is. And I'm living that. I'm experiencing that right now. Remember, this channel is living to learn. I will always be learning. Right now, I'm experiencing this in my life. So I feel it. I'm not just talking about it. I'm experiencing it. I'm going through it. And I feel the heaviness. I know the weight of it. But something has got to change. That's the breaking point, right? We reach that breaking point. We know something has got to change. Something's got to happen. And you know that you need to do something to change it. And you're fed up, right? I'm fed up with this, and this. I can go down a whole list with you. But I'm sure you have your things as well. And this channel is not about me. It's about you. It's about helping you. Just sharing my experience, sharing what comes to my mind, sharing from my heart, the things that I have learned, things that I'm able to articulate, things that I was able to digest from reading or from learning, from hearing from others. That's what this is about. But that's it. That's the breaking point. Hey, something's got to change. It's time for a change. And that's a good place to be. Like I said, it's not a fun place. Probably doesn't feel good. Probably not very comfortable at all. But we got there. Even to recognize the need for change is a big deal. Remember, and I've talked about this before as well, don't forget to pause, don't forget to stop and celebrate even the small victories, even where you've arrived to at this point, even where you've gotten to at this point. Don't forget to celebrate that. It's hard to believe, but most people, I don't want to say most people, a lot of people will not even get to this point. Yes, I don't like how this is, but oh well. And why? Because change is hard. It's tough. Even the things that aren't good for us, even the things that aren't healthy for us, that don't serve our greater purpose, that really don't do us any good, they linger. They're still a part of our lives. Why? Because change is difficult. Comfort is what we naturally desire. Even if it's something that's not helping us, even if it's something that's not giving to us toward our greater good, right? Our meeting any of our needs. That's how much we love comfort. That's how much we love to stay the same. And our body and our mind is gonna gravitate toward that. It's like a magnet for our mind and our body. It wants to stay the same. This is the fight. This is part of it. So when we reach the breaking point, we've actually gained some momentum. We've gained some momentum. We've got to build off of that momentum, because now we realize, hey, something's got to change, and I got to do something about it. I've had it. I've had enough. I'm over it. I'm done. What do I need to do? And that leads to the third phase of the change cycle, which is the decision. When you actually decide to put into action a plan, something to get a desired result. Something like, hey, listen, this is what I got to do now, because I'm discontent. I've had enough, and now it's time to do something about it. So I hope this has been helpful. Again, like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. If you want to donate financially, that's always helpful and always welcomed. But thanks for watching.